Good morning, students. Today we will have our six students. You know, there are lot of income an individual receives. An individual may receive income from different sources. Okay, it may be from salary, may get pension from the earlier employer, gratuity from former employer, rental income from own building, income from business, income from profession, income from partnership firm, amount received from government as compensation for assets taken over, lottery winnings, profit from sale of assets, commission, brokerage received, interest from investment, dividend received from a company for the shares, income from mutual fund. Okay, right? The taxpayer has to classify the income earned under 11 heads of income. See, these are incomes which an assessee receives, chances to receive. Income Tax Act 1961 has grouped this into 5 heads. Grouped it into 5 heads. Look, what are they? Number 1, first group, salary income, pension received from earlier employer, gratuity received from the former employer. This comes in the first group. There's another group, rent received from building. Rent from building. First one is salary. Second one is building related incomes. Third one is business related income. We can group those incomes into this. Income from business, income from partnership firm, income from profession. And the next group is profits from sale of assets. These 4 groups are there. So if you are having any income other than this 4 can be grouped into the 5th one, interest from investment, income from mutual fund, lottery winning, commission, brokerage received, dividend received from a company for the shares, amount received from government as compensation for assets taken over. All this can come into the last group, 5th group. Clear? These groups, income tax section 14 calls it heads of income. Heads of income. And the first group, Income Tax Act calls it salaries. Income from salaries. Section 15 to 17 of Income Tax Act 1961 talks about salaries. Clear? Next one is income from house property. If you are having a property building and from that you receive interest, income, rent, it goes to this particular head. Profits and gains of business or profession, section 28 to 44D. It talks about business, yes, and the 5th category, capital gain, section 45 to 54. Okay, these 4 heads, and the residual head is called income from other source, section 56 to 59. Hope you got. Income Tax Act 1961 brings in heads of income. Whatever income an assessee receives, Income Tax Act group it into one of these, and they are called heads of income. Income from salaries, income from house property, profits and gains of business or profession, capital gain, and income from other source. Let's look at the first head, first head, salaries. Income from salaries. Okay. Income from salaries, section 15 to 17, talks about income from salaries. What we need to do is, we need to calculate income from salaries applying section 15 to 17. Okay, right. So first section in every head is known as charging section. First head in every head is known as charging section. Section 15, charging section. So what is a charging section? This charging section tells us which are the incomes taxable under this head. Which are the incomes taxable under this head. Okay. Charging section, section 15 tells us that there are 3 incomes which are taxable under the head salaries. 3 incomes which are taxable under the head salaries. Let us look at these 3 incomes one by one before we end the lecture. First one, any salary due from an employer or former employer to an assessee in the previous year, whether paid or not. First item, any salary due from an employer or former employer to an assessee in the previous year, whether paid or not. Let's look at this. In this salary due, what is the item here? Salary due. What is salary? We will see that later in section 17. What is salary? Okay. Anyway, salary due is taxable under the head salaries, but there are certain conditions set in the provision. Yes, number 1, salary due. That means if you have worked for 12 months in a firm and you received only 10 months salary, but 12 months salary to be taxed, salary due is taxable. Clear? How much salary due? Second one, it must be received from an employer or a former employer. That means the employee and the employer, there is a relationship. That relationship is called employer-employee relationship is a must. Next one, this salary must be for the previous year. It must be for the previous year. If it is of the earlier previous year, then it cannot be taxed here when it is due. Clear? And next one, due whether paid or not. Whether you receive the salary or not is immaterial. Salary to be taxed when it becomes due. Clear? First one, any salary due from an employer or former employer to an assessee in the previous year, whether paid or not. And we saw the section in detail. Clear? Okay. Salary must be due. That means if 12 months salary due, then 12 months is taxable. How many months you received is immaterial. Employee, it must be received from employer. If it is received from somebody else, that's not taxable. It must be for the previous year and due or paid. Second one is any salary paid or allowed to him in the previous year by or on behalf of an employer or former employer, though not due before it becomes due to him. Or before it becomes due to him. Okay. So what do we see here? Salary paid or allowed. Salary paid or allowed. Salary paid or allowed. That means you received a salary whether you have completed the period or not. You may not have completed the period, before that you got the salary. 8 months salary you got, you worked only 5 months. 5 months salary is due. Okay. But you received 8 months salary. That 8 months salary will be put to tax. And as early we saw, employer-employee relationship is a must. It must be from the employer. And next it must be for the previous year. And not the point, paid or allowed, whether due or not. Whether due or not. It's interesting, no? First case we saw due, whether paid or not. Second case we saw paid or allowed, whether due or not. Clear? Now we will look to the third case. any arrears of salary paid or allowed in the previous year by or on behalf of an employer or former employer, if not taxed in earlier previous years. If not taxed in earlier previous years. What about this? This is about arrears of salary from a former employer or from a present employer. Clear? But these arrears of salary not taxed earlier. That means if it was taxed when it is due, it will not be taxed now. So this is arrears of salary. Suppose for example, this year the company brings in an enhancement in your salary. Company increase your salary, but what the company did? The company increase your salary with effect from last year. So last year this was not due, but now this is due. So therefore arrears of salary not taxed earlier to be taxed. Again here also employer-employee relationship is a must, and it must be in the previous year. This arrears of salary received in the previous year, but this is taxable if it is not taxed earlier. I hope you got it. If it is due, it will be taxed. If it was not due last year and it becomes due only this year, yes, then tax arrears of salary received is taxable. Yes, clear? So these are the three incomes which are taxable. In these three cases we saw certain things, certain common points. These points we need to note. Number one, it must be earned in the previous year. So this income, which salary which is going to tax, must be earned in the previous year, must be of the previous year. Second point, it must be due, yes, or received, whichever comes first, comes early. Due or received, whichever comes early, don't forget. And the third one is employer-employee relationship is a must. Clear? Master-servant relationship. Employer-employee relationship means master-servant relationship. If this relationship is not there, then that is not taxable. Let us take some cases to understand it better. Remuneration of a director. Suppose a director receives remuneration. Whether it is taxable under the head salaries. If remuneration is received by an employee, as a director employee, that means the company appointed him as a director, then that remuneration is taxable under the head salaries. But if a director receives remuneration and he is an elected director, he is elected from the shareholders to the board of directors, then he becomes the owner of the company. Then he cannot be, his income, his salary cannot be taxed under the head salaries. Okay, because there is no difference between the employer and the employee, one and the same year. Similarly, suppose a remuneration received by a partner from a partnership firm. If a partner receives remuneration from partnership firm, then also it is not taxable because there is no employer-employee relationship. Partner and the partnership firm, partner is the owner of the firm. So there is no employer-employee relationship, master-servant relationship. Similarly, let us consider the salary or remuneration received by MPs or MLAs, member of parliament or member of legislative assembly. Yes, their case also, they are government themselves. They are not employees of the government. They are not employees of the government. They constitute the government. Clear? Therefore, yes, remuneration of a MP or MLA is not taxable under the head salaries. These incomes are taxable, but not in salary, but in other heads. So for taxing an item under the head salaries, employer-employee relationship is a must. You got these points? This we need to bear in mind, and let us look at certain cases and see whether these items are taxable under the head salaries. Number one, received wages from his master rupees 8,000. Number two, recorded in the books as salary earned but not actually worked rupees 25,000. Third one, received rupees 20,000 as contractual payment from the employer. Fourth one, received rupees 60,000 as salary from B company, a partnership firm where the assessee is a partner. Fifth one, remuneration of rupees 40,000 as elected ward member of VBMC. Question number 6, rupees 4,000 from Xerox Center where he works part-time. Let us take one by one. First one, received wages from his master rupees 8,000. Wages or salary, there's no difference in income tax. Wages and salary are both same. Whether you receive wages or whether you receive salary, that is taxable, because section 17.1 definition of salary, it says clearly salary includes one, wages. So wages is taxable as salary. So this 8,000 we can tax under the head salaries, or we must tax under the head salaries. Next one, recorded in the books as salary earned but not actually worked rupees 25,000. I hope you understood this statement. This statement clearly tells us that this salary is not a real salary, real income. It is a fictitious income. This is shown only in the books of account. Actually, it has not taken place. Clear? So, fictitious salary is not taxable at all. Only real salary is taxable. Okay? Because salary must be earned in the previous year. Okay? Here, even though in the books of account it is shown, so that's why it is called fictitious salary. Received rupees 20,000 as contractual payment from the employer. Whether it is a contractual payment or a gracious payment, if the amount is received from the employer, then that is taxable under the head salaries. So this item can be taxable under the head salaries. Clear? Rupees 60,000 as salary from B company, a partnership firm where the assessee is a partner. Salary received by a partner from a partnership firm is not taxable under the head salaries because there is no employer-employee relationship between partner and the partnership firm. Partner is the owner of the partnership firm, so employer-employee relationship, master-servant relationship is absent. So this item cannot be taxed under the head salaries, but this will be taxed elsewhere. This will be taxed under the head business or profession. Remuneration of rupees 40,000 as the elected ward member of VVMC. Elected ward member of a municipal corporation is not an employee of municipal corporation. Therefore, employer-employee relationship is absent. Elected ward member is not a servant of VVMC. Yes, they run the VVMC. Clear? Okay. They play the role of employer. So there is no question of taxing the remuneration because employer-employer relationship is absent. 4,000 from the Xerox center where he works part-time. Whether you work part-time or full-time is immaterial. It is taxable as salary because employer-employer relationship exists. Clear? So these are the items which are taxable under the head salaries. But some of these are not taxable under the head salaries. For example, item number 2 is not at all taxable because it is not as real, it is fictitious. Item number 3 is taxable under the head salaries. Item number 1 is taxable under the head salaries. Item number 4 is taxable under the head under the head business. Item number 5 is taxable under the head income from other source. Item number 6 is taxable under the head salaries. This we determined on the basis of section 15. Hope you understood section 15 3 incomes, 3 salaries which are taxable under the head salaries. Thank you.